Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're talking about the one and only Turbo Toad token. Now, listen, Turbo has been cooking, right? It has been cooking. There is another update from the official Turbo Toad token Twitter page, and we can see, ladies and gentlemen, that it pretty much says something exclusive is brewing, right? We can see and Turbo is behind the scenes. So we can see, ladies and gentlemen, Turbo is cooking another collaboration. And oh my gosh, I mean, is Turbo ever going to stop cooking? The answer is no, right? The answer is no. Turbo will always do well. We can actually see this post has been doing a little bit better, 12,000 views in 13 hours. So pretty good, pretty good. Another collaboration, right? Some, exclusive stuff behind the scenes. So that's what we love to see. There could be potentially a very, very big collaboration on the way. And we can see, right, people are cooking with the cars, they're cooking with the pictures. And I mean, damn, who wouldn't be excited for something like this? So, absolute W, absolute W. I don't see any other really meme coins doing this, making these types of moves. And this is what we love to see. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, that we are ranked 165 in the world out of pretty much 9,515 cryptos. We can see that we're at 0.0040, 281 million market cap with 20 million volume in the last 24 hours. When we go to something like the holders, we have been losing slightly, slight holders, just a few of them, but nothing too crazy. I mean, just a couple have been lost, which doesn't really matter in the end, right? It doesn't really matter in the end because like one green day that goes up 5-10%, and all of them just come running back. That is just the nature of crypto. That is just the nature of people and their psychology. We can see Turbo has kind of just been going sideways the last few days, right? On Tuesday, we were anywhere between 0.00422 to all the way down to 0.004. Right. And then we can see we just kind of been ranging in this box over here near a big support, right? Near a big support. But I still think, based off of this current structure, that we will be going slightly lower. And that's just because my bias personally is that Bitcoin is still looking to sweep, right? Bitcoin is still looking to sweep this 112,000. I'd be genuinely really surprised if it didn't. As of right now, it technically does have a lower low here. So I still think that the reversal is not going to happen just yet. But of course, we have to monitor and continue to see how everything is going to be working out. The one thing that is going in our favor in recent times is the Bitcoin dominance, right? We know when Bitcoin dominance goes down, despite what Bitcoin is doing, our coins naturally start going up. But I still believe, I just seen too much in these markets that I would be really surprised if there's no fake out. As of right now, even just in terms of the lower time frame structure, there are no confirmations for turbo reversing, right? There are no confirmations. We can see pretty much last time there was a big support and resistance retest at around 0.005. After that, we sold off pretty heavily, pretty aggressively. And despite, technically making a higher low than here at 0.00448, we had multiple flower candles that were just so weak. And we can see we just kept getting demolished. And even though we have been kind of going sideways in recent times, we've been failing to close above this important area, right? This important relevant area of pretty much 0.00426, right? We can see we've been closing multiple times roughly in the same place, and we've really just failed to push, right? We really just failed to push above and just kind of retest off this to continue to go higher. And we can see in the last couple of hours, actually this is pretty much the last 16 hours, we have been struggling to go up higher and higher. Now, technically, we do have a higher low on the 4 hour, right? This is a higher low than this one over here. But the reality is, it's like, I still don't see too much momentum to the upside. Even if we do go up, I don't really see us going past the 0.0042 zone And like I said, I still expect some type of sweep to the downside. In terms of the weekly candles, like I said, it is still fine if we close this way when it comes to the bigger picture. Obviously, we did have this trend line that is kind of getting wrecked right now, right? We're not really holding it. But remember, another support could always be formed. And of course, we still technically have the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to pretty much see if we, at the end of the day, bounce off of here or if we just do close beneath it. Like I said, the most important thing is for us to never close below 0.0031, pretty much. Okay. We could go to 3.2, we could go to 3.3, but let's not close below 3.1 because then at that point that would invalidate our very, very important swing low. And we can see, right, the swing points are here, down here, here, these highs, and we're running out of space overall. We're running out of space. I still expect turbo to be bullish. I still expect the markets to be bullish. You know, there's a very small chance something like this plays out. I would really doubt if something like this would play out. I mean, this would literally like be the end if something like this happened, right? This would really, really suck. And I know a lot of people would lose a lot of money, including myself. And of course, the cycle would just be confirmed different, right? It would be confirmed different. Like I said, I don't think that's going to necessarily happen. I do still think like we are going to be respecting this huge zone over here, right? Because remember, this is a huge support and resistance. At the end of the day, this is a huge support and resistance, this whole zone. And yeah, I still think the picture is the same, right? We're just pretty much between two massive zones. We are also preparing to break this diagonal resistance. Right, we can see boom over like this. And I expect for us to bounce off of generally, let's just say 0.0033 to then eventually smash through these zones. And once we kind of go above them, the next thing to contest is practically the all-time highs. I know people are getting bored. But you got to remember, um, the fun part realistically is only a few short months. And in those few short months, there's like 4 to 6 weeks that are like the prime of prime that you've been waiting for years. And yeah, by the end of the day, it's all worth it, right? At the end of the day, it's all worth it. I still believe, I still have conviction in this market doing well. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, not too long ago, people were complaining, crying when Bitcoin was at 75K, 80K, when Ethereum was what, like 1.3K? Right, 1.5K. You got to remember this when Turbo was down at 0.0017. So remember, the days have been worse. The days have been worse where crypto and everything was really, really down. And we're here, right? We're here. It might be in your head one of those moments where it's like it seems bad again. It starts to rain, it starts to pour, it starts to get a little stormy in your head. But you got to remember that you've survived worse. You've been through worse. And I still believe with everything, with data, with everything presented, that we will have a very, very nice altcoin season. But yeah, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Let me know what you guys think. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.